Mame enshas in free question I maybe say answer the kofa foreign news no. Say this season say share Asante Kotoko transfer our moye ya. E come here say players no dodo na no. Say de na ye hwe ni muso betimi abobom modern ni anim ya no. Amana sa. Say teams to say Kotoko mo ne house mo zo mo ni twan honhom sa o. Especially mabo season na she down koye. Omo chance of even some top form cry problem no. Yana we play an aba for no ntimi ama yana akofansim bebre na aba. So bone de omabobo bia na dodo na nipa akono so pa Dr. Prosper Nate Ogum our head coach Edema Asante Kotoko bobo ekuo no. Na no na ye bisa say the course season we no next season kwan be so na esa Asante Kotoko fa e dey recruit players.
Well, Jibo, yes, I'm met here for a crab of you now. You know about 3 for you to understand this particular conversation, I see a deacon who Kotoko signings on my year. So, signings now, structure behind the signings, net the same. Now, all share Kotoko signings, of our players are clearly, the intention was. The omo call the youth team and they do those players I mean they are stairs better but omo ani enim se Kotoko before mo e dem aba be senior team no Jibo drew how we will also make that one clear. So goalkeeping department there on say Danlad, Frederick Kasare and Muiz Poitintino Asante Kotoko and shut down fa a senior team goalkeeper into share Fatal Seydua now with future stars, how do you say clearly for the academy, so or for the youth team or for the future. I won't say that ratings. Then at the right back position, Kotoko Emma Fuseni Saha could be justified for almost 2 weeks before they signed him. Samuel Anya justified. He was signed. By the time we drew people, so now Kotoko Neo Mary our more fan. Abodu. So for Prince Anderson, they could start his season and later. Because at that time, also a Troy CEOs are saying, what's we no buy, honestly, for the youth team. Then you look at Yusuf Nuruddin, also the Kotoko training in the process, they signed him. Ariansu was signed, and San Obabe drew a year, Beposo. Then you talk about Daouni Yaya, he was signed, and San Obabe drew a year, Beposo. Then you look at Nana Benyina Mwa. Nana Benyina was signed and San Oko Beposo Akwe training. Na wahe intimenu signed before Okudru Beposo. Wanya justify. Michael Che Jamana signed. Anoka de Kotoko signing no. I think say he was the last player Kotoko signing here. That was in the middle. Baba Yaya eko ball matches before he was signed. Baba Yaya ball 2 friendly matches before he was signed. He was monitored by the coach before he was signed. Peter Aminu Akwa, Sone Kotoko ye training na Sana Kotoko signed from Park Academy. Then Ubehe Bena Somwa, also Kotoko ye training na before he was signed. Kalu was signed before so Babi Drew Peposo. Ziggy, any Kotoko ye training ball match, and Sana Kotoko was signing. Now, Jibo, the most interesting tennis. Bebre na a team ni omo ye training with the team and sana team ne fa omo dodo na club ne to mu straight no u rate omo de no e wo form kakra che omo ne team ne be boy time am ball list ne so no Peter Akwa ne Kotoko ye training ball matches sana eventually Kotoko sign no and he's one of the best transfer as Asante Kotoko ye. We will have first team no straight, and he can easily sit back and say, Kotoko stay, terminate, loan, contract extension. Wouldn't make us stay for no. You might even go to the extent of saying, I'm so sano, yeah man, contract extension or yeah trials. You talk about Babaya. Yaya was known. Ewa Kimfesa, Obianim Yaya, Bajibo. Yaya ne Kotoko ball matches before he was signed. By Asante Kotoko. Emma large cruiser, some 12 large so boy and free agent. Into you know the Nishra or the Bema boy. But on a Kotoko ye training. I'm at a point news be grab I say and I'm say Kotoko delay into the agent and person terminated in Olympics and I has. He's one of the best signings at Kotoko Nya. One team near training. Yusuf Nuruddin ewe chiriho. Before Nuruddin was signed, on the Kotoko ball matches. So no a free agent. Into a buy and Kotoko and sign and a precope. Only team need training ya and stand a club and signing. There are others on Bayebi, the same for saying is a haku. Only team need train but no one fa. But you cannot talk about Kotoko's best signing this season. Sam Yensa will be your free. Now let's go to the other players. Dauni Yaya was signed straightforward. But come more moon sooner than the account. Samuel Asamoah was signed straightforward. But come more moon sooner than the account. Nana Benyini was signed straightforward. By the time we do people know a Kotoko player, but come more men sooner than the account. Che Jamana signed straightforward. But Che Nankasa in an interview admitted, say, when you're a good season, Kotoko. In team men was signed straightforward. And some on it team Nikoye pre-season. In the last 3 matches, and yeah, who improvement on the modern bone. 2 man total ratings, I give him around a C.
It's based on the working in Ano. It looks like based on signings, new players are born. So we're striking by percentage. It looks like about 20-30% the team performing.
Yeah, the majority.
Okay, that means there was a problem with how we recruit players.
But in going deeper, it appears that the recommendations did not work. Omo Kotoko omo di straight. Kaluka
Ziggy
be boy. Answer no more fan. And I'm kasi you be a boy, but omo boy any team near training. Emo obia hu so mbetimi abo answer na Kotoko sign omo no. Omo ma perform than omo in terms of ratio. Omo a club ne form straightforward.
Yeah, quite any na dey na so mo ye.
One. Whoever was involved in that straightforward recommendation, that person should not come close again.
Man, get close.
No. They cannot take no moment. A moment faster any panel.
Recommendation 100% to take final decision.
The recommendation 100% no more fine. No more fabium. Nipo kaso we dia maheno. Magina tum. Most of them did not work. Those recommendations should not be accepted again. That's the first thing. 2, it must go through a process. If possible, akwenya wo ho a, okay, akwenya wo ho a, ese nipa ne Kotoko be training. Sa akwenya ne wo ho, se nipa ne ba be training, e ma wo hwe na, ese obeye. Sa akwenya ne ni ho de a, then the name should be presented earlier for proper scouting. At this moment, yeah. Unimjibo. So now about Kimfesa. Kimfesa no more defending of an Ebla.
Yeah.
Ofre Ignatius is here. Naka say Ignatius and recommended defender of Kimfesa on a China on very recommend your first. But nobody was watching that boy. Karela be far boy we Abdul Latif from Kimfesa and Nekoi. Morrison said not Kimfesa. Baba Kimfesa was going on relegation. But some no. So the bottom line is you need to look at the player. Inti sabre am no mo kase. Esese Kotoko enya a scouting team. Na scouting team no fa detailed report of the player because Jebo ye nyina yeti kroma ne anim sa amanko na woko Chelsea a omo lusu bo a on take. That is a star wo. Monko jembra mo de ba me de ne ese me kotwe. Etwe na ekamu a on pressio.
Obi abeta, obi abe defend am.
Obi adwuma Collins amaya omo adwuma wa akire ho. Amankora ne de nse agia odimirika otwe mienu. Ye man the confidence to take on players. It's a fan now ba. Now cause on be support to a right back now. Ne ye ne be danger man because that is not how he operates to a club no bono. That is my point. To me Masamine say when you monitor the player, when you observe the player, you know the qualities of the player and why the player no perform well when the club ho. then you ask yourself, say, are you having such a similar problem in your team? And player neba, can he operate in that same role or even adapt to role so on the ball club no? If you don't have that, no one check us on your money now. Nipa ni betimi agidi ba akwa kofana ba obebre. So she as good. Sa omo midfield 3 of McCarthy, Akamenko and Anabila. They are not trimia de pa Anabila. Obi no she as good man say ono na trimia de. Anabila de say the mame no a pass it, no a chain. E kemwa McCarthy ne Akamenko adwuma. Sabagna or omo adwuma because they were all playing behind him. He was the one closer to Shafi Mumuni. In South Kofanaba Kotoko. Now Catherine say Olusuba Uncle Taki Adibu. Obed tribe Obed bre.
Okay.
Now watch Keke at Samates. Doubt that Yusuf said Mojuma on Betake. Richard Dark Mojuma. Ebenezer Okam Mojuma. On only the he's closer to the front line.
Okay.
Obomo and Montimoti among family. So you need to know the type of player Nipaneye. And whether you can use him in that same role. Again, you even need to look at players that complement him. A man in modern money so any. Until I make a scout and one seminal. Until you team be our GDA. And you player no bonachino. And a year, Juman man and modern boss so any. So we need that kind of player and be team. Now, confining but 2 more bebre. And that thing has been happening. We pick the names, but we don't know how the player operates. We don't know why the player is doing well. Into a quarter, even by Kumasi. In the early season, he was struggling. Because quite a person fast board, yes, I know teams to after hobo. And yes, there's the need for the player to adapt. But player Messi left boy. But I catch Messi on quite adapting kobo left back and resolve me about. So I say adaptation. You play beyond role a bend your no bit me adapted.
Okay.
So it should not be a one-man decision.
Okay.
In signing players for Kotoko this season. Two, the committee must have proper information about every player that will be presented. 3, if there is a possibility of Nipan Babe justifier. I'm finding training grounds.
All right.
Because I don't pressure Nipan.
Me da se.
Na Shafi Udieni bi and Sanko CBM.